What's going on YouTube? Welcome to a new video, Wizland with Wiz. Happy to be with you guys today. So today, we're going to be talking about 3 distractions that we need to eliminate in our lives as men if we're trying to attain our full potential, or at least help us get to that stage of life where we feel that we have attained our full potential. But to be honest with you guys, it is something that I had to sit down and kind of think about the things that I deal with on a daily basis, the things that I've dealt with through my life. And I think it's very important for us to understand that these things will always be there. That's one thing that you can't, that's one thing that I can say, that these things will always be distractions. But it's going to be on us to understand how much we entertain these distractions. So let's start out with the first one. So this video is going to be guided more so for men. So if you're a female, you want to stay and check out the entire video. I really do appreciate you, but it is going to be mostly guided towards men. So the first one I want to say is girls. Girls, females, women, whatever stage of life you're in. And I say girls because if you're 15, more than likely you have maybe a high school sweetheart, whatever the case might be. It's already a distraction for you, more so if you're an athlete. I was in that position when I was 15. I was a star soccer player, had a girlfriend. I was a new student at that school as a sophomore, so I was talking to all these girls. Eventually ended up being in a relationship, and I stayed with that girl for about 3 to 4 years. And instead of me focusing on football, soccer, I ended up focusing on the relationship and the girl, just because I wanted to get it in. That was the main reason. I wanted to get it in, and the thing is that, okay, you get it in, but then you lost time that you can't get back. When you're in high school, you're not gonna be able to be in high school after those 4 years. So if you're 15 and you're dealing with girls and you're an athlete and you have already an understanding of where you want to go with life, maybe it's time for you to focus. It's time for you to really focus and give that thought a really go at it. And I think that when you introduce a female to that picture, it becomes very difficult because now you're more focused on the girl. And I know like some guys now like, oh, like I can deal with both things, but you can't. Why? Because you've never been in that position. At 15 years old, you don't know shit either. When I was 15, I thought it was gonna be the wife that I was gonna marry, the girl that I was gonna make my wife. And nah, it doesn't happen that way. So you have to be understanding that those 4 years you have in high school, they're very important, because those are maybe the last 4 years that you will have justified to be a kid. After you graduate, you're considered an adult. The society expects things out of you, like work, like be self-dependent, like understand certain things about life. So you have to understand that if you're 15 and you have a girl, maybe it's time for you to rethink that. If you're 20, 25, I've seen people get married at 20. I, for one, I would have never been able to do that. Why? Because when you're 20, 21, 22, you're just starting to see the world for what it is. You're starting to understand that life is not going to be easy. More so if you come from a family or come from a working class, life is not easy. More so if you don't go to college, more so if you don't have any business or anything going for you, it's gonna be a hard life. So once you get married, once you allow yourself to have kids at 20, 21, 22, 23, which is another thing, like men can have kids at an older age. Women is okay, 25, that's perfect. And usually that's the thing about guys, the difference between guys and girls. Guys, for the most part, at 25, they don't know what the fuck they want. Girls at 25, they already graduated. They're already on the field. They might already have started their career. But most men, no, that ain't the route they took. So you have to understand that if you're a guy, which that's who I was. I was a guy that went to college, dropped out of college. I'm still dealing with girls at that stage. Eventually got in a serious relationship. moved in with my girl. At that point, we lived together for a very long time, but I didn't allow myself to build any type of, for one, financial security for myself. I don't allow myself to become a grown up by myself. So I was becoming a grown up while I was in the relationship. So you have to understand that if you're doing that, it's gonna be hard. More so because that most people, and I get it, like you see all this shit on the internet where you see people balling, when you see people like 18-year-old guys, millionaires, you see crypto millionaires, you see all this bullshit, right? But if that ain't you, I don't know why you're entertaining the idea that you can do those things. If that's not you at that moment, or at this moment, that's not you. You got to see what your reality is, and based on your reality, you have to understand that if you have an 8 to 5, if you can't sustain a family, if you can't sustain more, if you cannot, and I would say that if you don't have a savings of at least 6 months to a year, if you don't have a savings of 6 months to a year of all your expenses, and at this point, let's say you want to have a kid, or you want to be with a girl, you want to live with a girl, if you don't have expenses to kind of create that security for you and your girl, then you shouldn't be entertaining a girl. Because if you want to, and I'm saying this from a place where I have not done this, but because I haven't done it, I know what it takes to do it now. I just did it a way that I got it wrong. I learned how not to be in a relationship, and because I know how not to do it, I do know how to do it now. And that's why I said, like, I wouldn't put myself in a position to be in a relationship again for a very long time, unless it's with the girl that I'm dealing with, that I've dealt with for the last almost 5 years, 3 to 4 years. So you also have to understand that you have to make choices at a young age that do not have to do with a girl. So that's number one. Avoid the girl, or avoid the distraction of girls. Number two, sports. I mean, if you're a guy that likes sports, cool. If you're an athlete, perfect. If you watch whatever sport you're watching, because let's say you're a soccer player, you're watching soccer, you're a football player, you watch football, you watch college. Okay, I get that. There's a reason why you're doing what you're doing. But let's say you're 25, or you're 35, or you're 45, and every Sunday you're full geared off, ready to support, let's say, the Steelers, in my case, support the Raiders, even though they can't win a fucking game. If you're a person that is supporting a team fully, and you're the person that talks in an aspect of we, like we didn't win the game or we won you need to put yourself out of the equation, because you're no longer, you're not the team. You're a fan, a supporter, but you don't get anything from that. So that's why I say sports are one of the biggest distractions for guys. If you don't have, let's say, if you're watching a game and you're not betting, which is risk. And I don't recommend this, but I've done this where I put X amount of money on a game, and then I'm watching the game. Not that me watching it is gonna change any of the outcome, but the only reason why I'm watching it is to see and hope that I win the game. But understand that when you watch a game, you have no type of say on how the outcome or what the outcome will be. You're not part of the team. You're not there getting paid to play. And that's one of the things that we don't get taught. Maybe you were born into a family that supports a team hardcore. That's the tradition. And I'm not saying get away from that if you guys have a tradition, but also understand that if you don't got your shit together, if you're trying to become better, if you're trying to gain whatever success you want to gain, whatever you have to find a success, you putting in 3 hours a weekend, or you putting in maybe not even 3 hours, because after the 3 hours are gone, you go watch the highlights. You're anticipating the game after that. Then you feel like like, just say your team won. Now you're in a good state. Now instead of just watching that game, you either go watch other games, and then you just go ahead and just party the entire day because your team won. You're losing a lot of time. You're investing a lot of time. Not saying that it's not fun. Not saying that you don't deserve that if you got your shit together. But if you don't, and you're watching sports just to watch them, just to support them, just to be a fan of them, bro, you got your mindset wrong. I've stopped watching full games for 4 years now. When I was living with my girl, like, we would watch games because it was a special moment for us to kind of share. She liked watching particular teams. I would sit down with her. We would watch games. We would have something to eat, and we would just chill and watch the game. But you have to understand that you're sacrificing something for something. If you're just watching games by yourself and you don't have your shit together, and you're using that as an excuse to not do things, you have to understand you don't have to watch anything. Now you can watch the highlights. You can stay on track with the game without necessarily watching the game. There's so many different things that you can do now to stay active as a fan, as a supporter, and you won't lose nothing. You really, and you're not missing anything. So that's my second one, sports. And I know if you're a fucking sport guy, I'm a sport guy. Like, I love football, I love soccer, I love basketball. Those are my 3 top sports. I watch the highlights when I can, but it's not like I used to, man. Like, I used to literally sit down and watch an entire Rockets game, or sit down and watch an entire Raiders game, or sit down and watch several soccer games, like, based on the teams that I enjoy watching. Like, I used to do that like crazy. Now I really don't. There's no need for me to do it. I can go to YouTube, watch a highlight, which will only take me about 10 minutes. Or I can go and kind of listen to some of the people talk about it, because it gives me a concept of what occurred. When it comes to 2 people debating about something, it gives me a better understanding of what happened, or a better context about the score. So it kind of gives me on the loop, so I don't have to sit down for 3, 4, or 5 hours, depending how long the game goes, to actually know what's going on. So I don't know if I'm explaining myself with that, but yeah, guys. Number 2, sports. Cut them off. Number 3, the last one, because I do think that this is the most important one. Besides girls, I mean, I'll tie it with the girls because it is very important, and girls will also fall under that. It's entertainment. Entertainment has to do with everything that has to do with your social media. So if you're on social and not doing nothing productive, that's a form of entertainment for you. If you're, and not saying that you have to do something, because a lot of people think that now because only people that have social should, like, I don't know, there's this false this fallacy that you have to have a social media to kind of become a content creator and all this bullshit. No, you don't have to have social media only for that. Like, social media is an entertainment platform. If you want to connect with friends, maybe friends you have not seen in a long time, if you want to promote a business, or you want to support a business, there's so many reasons to have social media now. It's not just to become a content creator. It is the hot thing right now, but I believe at some point people are gonna quit doing that. They're gonna quit doing that, and only the real people that want to do it that are gonna keep doing it. And that's gonna be the real people that at some point started doing it, and they're gonna keep doing it regardless of what the payout for whatever it is that they're doing gets them. So social media, entertainment, music is a big one too, and movies. I would say don't delete everything, meaning don't stop consuming everything. If you're a moviegoer, watch your movies. If you're someone that listens to music a lot, okay, that's fine, but try to reduce it maybe a week at a time. Let's say you watch Netflix, you watch an episode for 2 hours, you watch a show for 2 hours, and you do that every day. So that's about 10. Let's say if you do that every day, that's about 14 hours in a week. So if you do that for 14 hours in a week, maybe cut it down 30 minutes. It's not about just cutting everything from your life. It's not about just stopping what you're doing already. I mean, if you can try, but it's gonna be pretty difficult to just go cold. Like, let's say you're used to going to social media, used to going to YouTube, going to Instagram, going to Facebook, going to TikTok, going to Twitter, going to all these different platforms, and then out of nowhere you just delete everything. I mean, you're gonna relapse by tomorrow because you're so accustomed to using all these apps. And even if you don't, you will eventually relapse, and you're just gonna go back to the same habit. The main thing that I've applied to myself is I've deleted some apps, but now what I do is I only allow myself like 30 minutes, and that's 30 minutes in total. That's including with me posting content. So what I do, I have a timer on my phone. I put my 30-minute thing, and then every time right before I go to any social media, I start the timer and it goes down. Every time I finish doing what I need to do on social, then I'll go ahead and pause it again. And as long as I don't pass my 30 minutes a day, I'm fine. And that was something that I would recommend for you to do, because sometimes all this shit is repetitive. If you don't understand, if you're in social media, you might watch the main thing in Twitter, and then you're gonna see the same thing on Instagram, you're gonna see the same thing on Facebook. It's all over the place. The same thing is all over the place, you know. And sometimes the tricky thing is that TikTok will catch you and make you think that you're not spending a lot of time, because their shorts are about 10 to 15 seconds, but you keep consuming that. By the time you're done with it, you've been in that app for 2 hours without understanding and realizing that all these 10-second, 15-second moments have accumulated to that 2 hours. So that's what everyone is doing right now. So Instagram is doing that, YouTube is doing that. So you have to be aware how companies are trying to keep you in their apps. But if you're productive, if you're trying to become better, it's your duty to understand how these apps work and not fall for it, because that's one of the easiest ways for you to waste your time. And understand, for me, time has become very valuable. It hasn't always been like this, but it's become more valuable as I gotten older, because I've become more clear about the things that I want to attain in life. And once you really understand what time is, and that you're never going to be able to get time back, you're going to start doing things differently. You're going to start moving differently, and that's how you're going to be able to get better and get to the destination or where you want to get to. So yeah, guys, I hope you stayed for the entire video. I really do. If you did, go ahead, give me a sub, leave me a comment, give it a like, share it with whoever you want to, and always remember to keep striving to become the best version of yourself. So I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.